Hello, welcome to Swapping Joysticks. It is the 11th of May 2023, and we are in peak Eurovision-ness right now. You can maybe see, but we're currently wearing our Eurovision t-shirts.
Maybe we should be swapping Eurovision for today.
Should just have an entire podcast just about Eurovision. It's a really nice t-shirt, this. For those listening
quite comfy
on the podcast, it is a really comfy t-shirt, but it's also like a really nice logo. I wasn't too sure about the logo at the start, but now I am fully into it.
Ben, what are we?
We are swapping joysticks.
What are we?
We are united by music.
Yeah, we are.
That's right. Is that a football reference?
No, but they did have You'll Never Sing Alone, which is definitely a Liverpool football reference, and we are not buying that shirt.
No, not at all.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, welcome. This is Swapping Joysticks, your home of LGBTQIA+, gaming, streaming, and whatever else we kind of talk about. And yeah, I'm Ben Ostwick, otherwise known as Biggest Bennis, and who are you?
I was literally about to say, who are you, Ben? Let's do the intro, shall we?
Yeah, we should really.
I am Ed Knights, Eurogamer reporter and Twitch streamer.
Excellent. Cap, no, we're not united by Coom.
Wow.
Yeah, no, we are. Well, I am feeling fine today. Yesterday, I have never been as tired as I think I am in my life as yesterday. How many times did I fall asleep yesterday?
You were very grumpy.
I don't think I was grumpy.
You were quite grumpy.
What was I grumpy about? Apart from the mushy peas that weren't mushy peas.
You moaned that the mushy peas were literally just mushed up peas and not proper mushy peas.
I think that is a very legitimate, and even though I'm not tired at all now, I would be still grumpy if somebody served me mashed up peas. I don't want mashed up peas, I want mushy peas. Mushy peas have like butter and stuff in it.
No, Molly, we were not grumpy in the spa, but there was grumpiness at people.
Why were we grumpy at people?
I mean, I'm always grumpy at people, so that doesn't really make a difference, does it?
No. So yeah, yesterday we went to
we'll
do it backwards. Yesterday we went to Brighton to have a spa day, and have a nice little walk around there, and it was, well, what did you think?
Well, my back still hurts.
That's
from the massage.
Yeah,
she fully went in, and I admit it's my fault because she said, "Do you want it to be sort of medium or do you want it firm?" And I was like, "Give it to me firm." And she fully went in with her elbows. It wasn't even like just a nice, firm thumb rub. It was literally across my back.
Oh, see, I wish I had had her.
And every single part of my back clicked as she dug her elbow up my spine.
Oh.
And I was like, this is fucking painful and not particularly comfortable. But I was just lying there thinking, firstly, don't vomit your lunch up because we just had lunch.
We did.
Secondly, please don't fart on her. And thirdly, this will be worth it afterwards.
Yeah, Alex.
And now my back just really hurts.
Alex in chat's like, I love that. I need that. I was like, I would love it because I had.
We should have swapped.
Yeah, we had different people, obviously, in different rooms. It wasn't a couples massage, but the lady that I had, she was firm, but she had firm grip. She was using her hands the entire time. She didn't use. I think she used her elbows a little bit. But, I mean, I'm totally down for that. Honestly, I want to be borderline screaming in pain when I get my massages.
Yeah, I don't.
I want my muscles pummeled so that, not the knots are out, but there's just it's kind of about as tender as a piece of salmon.
I like hands, not elbows.
Yeah.
Just saying.
But it was so good. It was the fastest 45 minutes of my life.
It did go by very quickly, and then it was all up the arms and up the legs, and even they were clicking, and I'm like, why are my arms clicking? What muscle have you found in there? And admittedly, I have really bad posture, and I do just sit all day at a desk playing video games and typing and whatever, and slouching on a sofa. So it's definitely my own fault. But as Yuffie says, deep tissue massage makes your body feel like you did an intense workout the next day. I was debating going to the gym today, and I thought, no. Yesterday was a workout.
But I left.
I also did about 3 lengths of the pool, which was not a long pool.
That's about as long as this room, Ed.
So that was enough exercise for me.
3 lengths. I mean, I literally I could, when I pushed off from one side, I could push off from one side and probably make it to the other side.
Just because you're tall.
That's true. But yeah, no, I was just saying I can turn my neck. I've got a lot more freedom of my neck because I got whiplash or some kind of neck injury when I was younger, and I can only really look over one shoulder. I can look over one shoulder more than the other. I got it was a ski accident. But after having that, I was like, oh, I've got a lot more flexibility back. So I think I should go there. I wonder if I can get it on the NHS because technically that's helped my health. But no, I think I can. I'm going to go probably like every 2 or 3 months to treat myself.
I think we should.
Yeah. Although,
it's
how
pricey,
expensive are massagers in London? I mean, we went to the reason we went to Brighton was that it was about £100 cheaper just to go to Brighton, and it was £25 a train ticket. So it's like, yeah, let's just do that. But it's like ridiculously priced.
That's London for you.
There's one place called Air Hotels, and you go through. I'm going to ask in the chat. Sorry for the people listening to this on podcast. I want to ask the chat. How much would you pay to go to a spa, which is part of a hotel, and you go and experience 6 different baths? So there's like a very warm jacuzzi bath. There's a quite warm one. There's a cold one. There's an ice bath. And then I think you get a glass of champagne. How much would
It's probably Carver.
Yeah. How much would you pay for that?
Let us know.
Yeah.
Considering this is London.
Well, considering what you would. Honestly, I keep getting so many.
Money says €50.
Okay, one second. Let me just see exactly how much it costs because I don't want to
double check it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like Roman baths, this place. And it sounds
beautiful.
People say
it's
sound
nice.
like very nice and very fancy. Rick Pixel says £50, mainly because I can just change the temperature in my bathroom at home.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's true.
So it's the...
Mark Lighting says maybe his firstborn.
Okay, so they do it for 2. It's a couple's experience.
A couple's experience.
Because we're not doing the love constellations. But the...
No.
Where is it? It's the... Oh, they do a 75-minute full body massage, though.
How much was that?
I'm not saying.
Please do.
But, well, the bath tour...
tour of the baths.
It's literally a bath tour. Yeah. 45... Oh, sorry, no, that's a different one. Where is it? Here we go. It's... Most love experience. Sorry, I'm trying to find the thing. Yeah, a journey of relaxation in a candlelit historical building. Oh, that's a massage. Keep talking, I'll find it.
Honestly,
Here we go.
Oh, here we go.
It's 45 minutes. So 45 minutes relaxing. Oh, that's the massage one again. I need to find it without the massage because it was different without the massage. Keep talking, Ed. I'll find it.
The one with the massage at the end is what I was thinking, because if you're going to go, I don't just want to soak in a bath. I want someone to touch me at the end of it. Please.
Would you want a... would you want a 30-minute or a 60-minute massage?
60?
Okay.
30 minutes is literally a quick poke. I want more than that.
Okay, well, a 60-minute full body massage and the journey of relaxation for 2.
Hang on, this price is for 2 people?
Yes.
Okay.
For 2 people, and it's 135 minutes, so just over 2 hours, with a 60-minute massage, £445.
Fucking hell.
£445. Jesus. And if you want a 90 body...
No, that's for 2 people, money.
For 2 people.
That's for a couple.
Yeah.
A couple's experience.
But yeah, I mean, there's some stuff that's just ridiculous. Like there's signature tea experience, Britain's magnificent culture and heritage with a journey that stimulates your 5 senses while submerging you in a deep state of relaxation through our exquisite tea-based experience. There's a tea-based experience that's £800.
£800 for some tea?
And
I mean, I would love that, but still, not for £800.
It's £900 for the wine one.
Wow. Manatee says Ed expects a happy ending for that price. I'll tell you what, I did not get head and you did, and I'm very annoyed.
She did massage my head. That was exactly what she did.
It was a full body massage, and I'm like, well, you went from neck down. I did not get a head massage.
And the thing is, like, so I went in there and she was like, I'm going to leave so you can like derobe. Would you like the, she's like, would you like the disposable underwear?
Oh, you also went naked.
Well, no, she was like, do you want the disposable underwear? And I was like, yes, I don't particularly want to be butt naked, which is fine. You know, I mean, there's a towel covering you and stuff, but like, you know what? I'll have the disposable one. It was like a thong. It was literally a thong. It was a paper thong. I felt so uncomfortable. And I think I put it on the wrong way around as well. Because there's like one side that's a bit bigger than the
so
other.
your ass was covered and your dick was out.
No, because there's one that's a bit wider. Like when you put underwear on.
That's what a thong is.
I think.
Like a string down the back.
Yeah.
So that's what was covering your dick.
Oh, I thought you meant to put a bollock either side of the string. I didn't know.
Oh God.
No, it was an experience, but yeah, no, I think I might have put it the wrong way around. But anyway, I got flossing my bits. I got the I covered myself. She didn't see anything, luckily.
I didn't even get that choice.
No, you went in. Yeah, she saw you.
I mean,
like, keep your
I was
trunks
in my
on.
trunks, but she literally just like, yeah, just sit with a towel over you. I was like, all right, thanks.
Yeah.
And then she elbowed me.
Yeah, great. Whereas I got ahead. No, it was very enjoyable, and I was like, oh, but like part of me I've realized I cannot get rid of anything in my head. Like, you can't, people like just what? Like free yourself from all thoughts. I can't do that. I was trying to like free myself from thinking, and I just kept like thinking about random stuff all the time.
Did you fall asleep?
I nearly did. Nearly did. Especially when I was on my back. Because when I'm face down, because I've got quite a large face, you might have noticed. Like but the hole is like this big. So it's like there, and I can like my nose is through it.
My full face is through it.
Yeah, your head's down. Like, yeah, which is, and then it was like pushing in on my eyes, and I had my contact lenses in, so I couldn't really. It wasn't the most comfortable on my face, but it was fine. Head fell through it.
Yeah, see, I wasn't thinking of nothing, but it was very much like, just get through this. It will be fine. Don't worry. Just deal with the pain.
But I'm talking there about myself in a paper thong. And my brother's in the chat. Hi, Sam.
Hi, Sam.
It's just like, yeah, just mute, Ed. Yeah, just Sam. Do I call you Ed? Just
Don't get us mixed up.
Just mute. Yeah, your ear bleach is on its way. Yeah, that is.
But anyway, we had that, and we sat in a jacuzzi. We went to a steam room. I'm not doing that again.
I really liked it. I'm used to it, though.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
There was like the wet steam room that kind of is, proper steam and was at least bearable. But after about 2 minutes, I was like, I feel like I might faint and this is awful. And then next to it was like the dry one that's literally just a hot room. I'm like, why the fuck would you sit in here?
My favorite one was the dry room.
Horrible.
And we sat in there and we were like, ow, 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 and we're like burning it into our legs. And then the guy came in with a towel and put it down and sat on it. And I was like, oh yeah, it's a dry
you're meant
one.
to sit on a towel, aren't you?
Because it's dry.
Yeah, sauna, but it was horrendous.
Is a sauna dry and a steam room the wet one? Are they the names, or are they both saunas, like different types? Are they wet saunas?
I think it's just different types of sauna, isn't it?
I don't know. Where are the Finnish people when we need to know?
Anyway, there was one that was just really hot.
Yeah.
And dry.
I like that one.
And I literally the room was just thick as hell, and like the air, and I was like, I literally can't breathe. I feel hot. I feel uncomfortable. I don't like it.
See, I like it.
I'm also with Yuffie here. Eczema does not like sweats. And all you do is sit in a room and sweat. And I'm like, this is the most disgusting thing ever.
It smells like a new shed.
Well, it smelled all right. At least it didn't smell of BO.
Yeah, that's true.
But to be fair, though, the little ice bucket afterwards was nice.
Oh, yeah? You went. I thought you would collapse. I thought you would literally collapse on the floor.
Well, I nearly collapsed in the blimmin' sauna. I was like, the heat is going to my head. This is horrible.
Yeah. And then the old lady came in and started chatting for ages.
Yeah, I was like, I've had enough.
Yeah.
I don't want old ladies chatting next to me while I'm dying in a sauna. Thank you very much.
No. It's weird because the sauna was like round a corner, and it's like, I bet some vile stuff.
Oh, there were lots of little alcoves in this place. They called it the grotto. And it was like 3 floors underneath a hotel with lots of little weird alcoves and corners that have definitely seen some action.
Yeah.
Not from us, but
No. Not in that, feeling that uncomfortable.
Absolutely
not. Although we did sit in a little Geralt tub, didn't we?
A what?
The jacuzzi was like a Geralt tub. It was like this tiny little tub with like wooden thing around it. They're like, how Geralt sits on it. Oh my God, I should have got you in there, put your feet over and taken a picture like Geralt.
No.
Oh.
I'm not having my picture taken in a grotto. Thank you very much.
All right, Mrs. Claus.
Not happening.
Yeah. You don't want to blow in the grotto. Exactly, yeah.
Not a blow in the grotto.
Grim grottos. Yeah. If I want a steam room, I just walk outside anytime in the summer. But yeah, luckily we don't have that too much of a problem here. Although this room might become one, I think, in the summer with the 3 PCs that we have.
Especially if you start farting in the middle of it as well.
Did I fart? I don't think I farted.
Well,
you meant in the sauna.
Just in general here, you probably will do.
That's true. Tea makes me fart, I've noticed.
I exist for Granny's gossiping. They have all the tea.
I can't remember what she was talking about.
I don't know, but what I wanted was silence.
Yeah. Utter silence.
Utter silence.
But yeah, that was our trip to Brighton, a very relaxing trip, which stressed it out. But then when we went for a little walk into some like record shops and up the lanes in Brighton. If anybody's been to the lanes in Brighton, they are really nice shops.
Yeah, lots of sort of quirky, unique, artsy kind of shops, which was cool.
you know what I mean.
I bought, if you know what I mean, there's a lot of that. But it's Brighton. We love that. I bought the Returnal soundtrack on vinyl.
And you're never going to play it again.
Well, you didn't enjoy listening to it.
It was awful. I sat on the toilet and I'm like, you know what? It's probably coming to the end of it by now, so I'm just going to sit here until he stops because I don't particularly want to sit in the living room and listen to some kind of... Well, it wasn't even like that because that sounds a bit rocky.
It's industrial alien sound design, actually.
Yeah, it was awful. It'd be great in a game. I just do not need to listen to it in my free time to relax.
That's fair. But it's a yellow vinyl. It looks very sexy. And it's got some very nice cover art, which will look lovely on the wall.
Yes, when we finally get that up.
I now need to meet Jane Perry in person again. So she can sign it for me.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be perfect.
Jane, if you're listening.
Yeah, I'll just reply to your tweet with like, Jane, oh my God, you need to get this signed by Jane Perry. Make it sound like it isn't your idea.
I'd love that. I would love that.
But the big
we had a nice walk on the beach as well with an ice cream.
We did. I had a lovely ice cream.
We didn't bubble gum ice cream.
Yeah, I saw that. I was like, I'm getting an extra scoop just so I can try the bubblegum ice cream.
No,
it was very nice.
No,
what's wrong with bubblegum ice cream? Bubble grump.
Well, okay, it's kind of just sweet and a bit weird on its own. But the fact that you had it as 3 scoops, so that's then mixing with like mint choc chip and salted caramel.
Oh, that was nice. I'd like bits of fudge in it.
Like when you have an ice cream, if you're getting more than one flavour, you've got to think about what's going to go together because by the end of it, it's just a mush.
Oh, I love bubblegum flavour. I love bubblegum flavoured pop.
Pop?
Yeah, love a bit of pop. Bubblegum pop. It's great. Oh, 30p from the corner shop.
Dylan agrees with me.
Well, some people do.
You've got to also think of the order because whatever you say first is what's going to be on the bottom.
And that's
what
you're
left with.
Bubblegum.
So you've got to think very carefully about what order of ice cream, what flavours are going to actually go together.
Yeah.
I mean, I had vanilla and cookies and cream, which is as white and basic as you can get, but it tasted good.
I know, vanilla. Who gets vanilla ice cream?
Because it was clotted cream and vanilla.
Oh, maybe.
It was creamy and delicious.
All Yuffie's meds were bubblegum as a kid. That'll make me want to drink lots of meds. It's called Fusion Cuisine. Exactly. Yeah, salted caramel and bubblegum. But yeah, that was Brighton. We went there yesterday and for those who are just joining in, yes, we will be talking about video games very soon. But as you can see by our t-shirts, if you are watching the video of this, we went to the Eurovision Song Contest. We went to Liverpool on Tuesday.
We went to Liverpool.
Oh dear, I had to stop myself so many times. One thing I noticed, we
had lots of chicken.
I just
the way I can't do the accent at all.
No,
but Ben just gets really annoyed.
It just sounds horrible. But I've got to say, people in Liverpool, like the nicest people I think I've ever met.
They were very friendly. But the thing is that also when we go to Yorkshire, people are very friendly.
Yeah.
When we went to Brighton, people were very friendly. Where are people not friendly? London.
Yeah, that's true. But I've got to even compared to Yorkshire, though, like people in Liverpool, everybody there was just so nice. Like just going to the shop, they were like, happy to be there.
Everyone calls you darling.
Yeah.
Everyone's very chatty.
Yeah.
I'm not going to attempt to do that in a Liverpudlian accent.
No. But I just had an amazing time there, and the people were absolutely lovely. The food was atrocious.
It was really bad.
Yeah. I'm sure there's some nice places in Liverpool that sell nice food, but not there.
So what do you say there? So basically, we got off the train at like 11-ish and walked straight to the arena, which is near the docks, which if anyone's been to Liverpool, the dock area is kind of really old, but was redeveloped, I want to say maybe 10 years ago. I'm not sure.
Oh, really? Is that new?
Yeah, it's pretty new. So there's like loads of new shops there and stuff like that. And there's this big arena, which is now owned by M&S or sponsored by. So we went straight there. We queued up for the merch stand to get our t-shirts. And we also got a program.
We did. Where's the program?
It's in the next room. Along with the magnet. And just,
why?
Because we have a white and cork board. Which is very exciting.
It's a bit bigger than I was expecting.
It is quite big.
Yeah.
But we have a whiteboard and corkboard, which is basically going to go on the wall behind us, behind the door.
It is huge.
So we've got like little bits and pieces of art and things that like people have sent us in the past. So we're going to put them all up on the corkboard.
Yeah.
And including our Eurovision magnet. So that's nice.
That can be the first thing we put on there.
Yeah. So we had that, and then we went into the arena, and that was about an hour and a half before it started. And we were like, there's literally nothing to do. We're just sitting around.
Yeah, we went to the afternoon preview of the first semi-final. Now, it used to be the jury final or the jury show, but the juries don't vote on semi-finals this year. They're testing it out as just public only.
So it's literally just public vote. It is literally a rehearsal, and what you see is. And this goes to my mother, who decided to send me 10 million texts of like, oh, did you see this? Did you see this? Oh, did you see that? I'm like, Mum, it is exactly the same show.
Yeah.
It's just they weren't wearing their costumes. Chill out.
Yeah, I mean,
I say costumes, I mean the presenters weren't in their dresses. Everything else was exactly the same. It was the same chat, the same jokes. It was the same show.
They even had like a fake. They even had fake results.
They do have fake results, which is very funny because it's basically stand-ins from the crew. So they're like they've got like a sign being like Sweden or whatever, and people are like pretending to be the acts. And they've obviously been told what the acts would say, so they're then like pretending to be them whilst waving on the camera, and we're all laughing. It's good fun.
But like at the end, yeah, when they're kind of announcing the winners going through, and it's just like the crew. There's like some guy. There's some guy just sat there. He looked about 21, 22 and just chilling, and he's there like Switzerland. And then, yeah, when they announced that Switzerland get through, he's like, oh my God. and like pretending.
And also the countries that they called out, they were like, and the first one through is Azerbaijan. And we were like, well, this is definitely fake because that's not getting through.
No.
I'm pretty sure Sweden didn't get through.
Oh, neither did Finland. I don't think Sweden or Finland got through. Yeah,
like, this is clearly fake.
Yeah, I think the Netherlands got through, so it was very, very fake. It was really sweet, and the people that were doing it seemed fun, and like everybody was really into it. My favorite bit of the whole night was before the show went live. They had a couple of camera shots, or they just had like a camera in the back, and so they had a camera. Now the ground floor people are standing, and they had a camera just kind of at the back, looking at the stage. But it was like below, so you could see people just wandering past who didn't really realize. And there were two guys talking to each other, like right in the middle of this camera. They had no idea they were on the main screen.
Yeah.
And they were just talking. I think it was quite loud, so they were quite close to each other.
Really close to each other.
Yeah.
And one was kind of facing the camera, one was slightly further, like sort of facing away slightly.
So they couldn't see the screen. And then like they must have talked for about 5-10 seconds. And I think everyone was, because the first thing that had popped up on the screen in a while. So everyone was looking at it.
Everyone was watching.
Yeah. And then they kissed each other.
Finally,
and
because
then
they were so close, everyone's like, "Are they going to lean in?
Are they going to
do it? Are they going to do it?"
And then they kissed, and the crowd just went crazy and started cheering. And they must have been like, "What?" And I don't think they realized at all that was why everyone was cheering.
That was amusing.
Yeah.
But yeah, we got there and we had some really terrible food, which they'd named after different countries. So there was like, "Oh, do you want Spanish food?" Which was some churros, or I can't remember what else there was.
I had Kentucky Fried Chicken. No, I had.
I think mine was
beef.
Ukrainian, but it was basically loaded fries, but with chicken Kiev strips, which was just some breaded chicken that was massacred. Like it was just overly cooked and awful. And I'm
glad it was massacred. It wasn't alive.
What, the chicken?
Yeah.
So that's probably a poor choice of words.
You mean
it was very overcooked.
Yeah.
And with pickled cabbage and like some mayonnaise or something. And I was like, this doesn't sound very Ukrainian, but sure.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't good food.
No, it wasn't. No, mine was some kind of pulled beef stuff. But yeah. And then
I don't know what country that was.
Yeah. Then we went into the arena. Although I think we'd been in there already. We didn't realize that alcohol that you could take alcohol in there, so I kind of like downed.
You literally
two
downed
drinks.
a pint before we went in.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm like, downed a pint and a Pepsi Max, so I was wired and slightly tipsy. And then within like 2 songs in, I'm like, I really need the loo, so I managed to sneak out very quickly, but I didn't miss anything.
But the show itself was very good. I mean, if you saw the semi on Tuesday, you literally saw the same show that we did, like almost word for word, with the same jokes and everything. I think the performances were very, like, I wouldn't say there were really any differences between what we saw.
Oh no, I think the
TV.
performances were identical. Like they had the same outfits on, the same things. Like even like the fireworks and that kind of stuff was all there.
And the performances that we thought were good and thought they'll go through, I think generally that's what happened later in the night as well.
Except Serbia. But then people watching it, I think, also went, this is terrible.
And that was the cyberpunky one for people remembering. It did not go well. It was very off key and not well sung in the arena. I think the one thing when you're there, well, there's two things when you're there watching it. The first thing is that the arena is way smaller than it looks on TV, because we could see it on camera. Like, they've got screens around so you can see the shots that they are basically testing. So you can see, okay, what is this going to look like on screen? And it looks way bigger on screen. We went in there because we were basically towards the back, but still had an amazing view and felt like we were pretty close. So it's actually quite a small arena.
It's only like 20,000 or less than that?
Maybe, yeah.
Less than that, actually.
And then the second thing is just to see the difference between what works on camera and what works in an arena in terms of staging. Like, for me, Norway's performance on stage, I think, looked better than it did on camera, because you could see loads of all the lighting and stuff that they were going for. And I think some of the shots for the TV show didn't necessarily show that. Or Czechia with the My Sister's Crown one.
Yes, that was one of my favorites.
There was a bit where they were on like the middle stage with like red lights all around them in a big circle, like sort of hovering over, and as if they were like summoning something. It was really cool, and I don't think that really came across on screen. So it was really interesting to compare, because then there are other bits like Israel where she's like in her tube thing at the start,
which we couldn't see,
because we were at the side. So like literally until she came out and smacked the floor with her dancing.
I'm glad you said dancing.
We couldn't really say very much. We couldn't really see very much.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's interesting to see like the staging and the choices that are made. Like, some things really work in an arena and just don't come off on screen at all, I think. And then the other thing that really amused me is the fact that Loreen was absolutely given like key billing, like top billing. She was right in the middle. They'd planned it so she was, well, I guess she was randomly drawn at 11, but they had it 5 performances break. So there was a break just before.
But they gave her an extra long break,
and it was a very long break because they had to bring in her panini press. And then there was a break afterwards as well, so that they could clear it out. And it's the fact that all like they wheel on whatever staging there is, and the stage is actually really cool. I think a lot of stages, when they're setting stuff up, they'll have bits of like colored tape to mark out where things should be. But because the floor is all light up,
LED, isn't it?
It completely lights up. It lights up with squares to show where they need to mark stuff on the stage, which is just kind of funny to see. Then like what do they name things?
Yeah, I can put a picture. I can put a picture in the Discord now. I'll pop it in the Swapping Joysticks Discord channel. But I took a picture where you can see where the markings were on the ground.
Yeah. And so they wheel all the staging on, and then the performers come up some steps on the side and sort of walk on and walk into position. But with Loreen, she is fully set inside the panini press. So they literally push her on because they don't want to have like steps so that she can walk up onto it on the stage. So they literally wheel on this big panini press thing. It kind of opens up. She's inside. She does her performance. It's wonderful. And then kind of the lights change, and then they just wheel her off, and she just sits on it and lays on this thing while they just wheel her off the stage. Like, thanks, Loreen, you've done your bit now.
Yeah.
Which just really amused me.
Yeah, I posted it in there. Like, you can see the square. There's like a square box along the bottom where it's like telling where things are, but there are better pictures of that. But you know, she was phenomenal.
Yeah.
I mean, she was a lot better live, I thought, than when I saw her at the previous at like this the finals for Sweden.
Yeah, I was worried because like she's Loreen, she's amazing, but she's sometimes a bit pitchy, and she was pretty much perfect. I'd say she was bang on. The performance was great. Everyone was super hyped to see her, which was really cool. But the biggest reaction of all was Finland by an absolute mile. It was the very last one, and the build up, the anticipation of it, everyone was like cheering more than they'd done for any other song. All the way throughout, it was like cha 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 cha. Everyone's properly going for it.
People are saying that the audio balancing for him was actually really bad, and like it didn't sound as good as he normally does, because he sounded great in the hall, in the arena, but I've seen people criticize him saying it wasn't very good at home, or it didn't sound as good as it actually is. Because it sounded great for us.
Yeah.
But I've been scouring the Reddit, Eurovision Reddit.
Of course, yeah.
But yeah, no, honestly, Cha 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 could win. I think Lorene's probably still the strongest. I mean, I haven't looked at the odds, and don't tell us. I'm going to go in completely not knowing really who it is. But I really enjoyed Czechia's My Sister's Crown. It was kind of like haunting. The hair
swinging was good.
Like, yeah, it was a bit haunting. That had really strong bass in it. It was phenomenal.
It's cool because it kind of built the chorus. The verse sort of builds up, and then it has this really like expansive chorus as they like walk down the staging. And stuff. Yeah, it was really cool. That one was a bit of a surprise to me. So was Israel, just in that I wasn't expecting it. The whole unicorn thing. I'd sort of dismissed that song when we'd heard it previously, and then seeing it live, it was like, okay, she can really perform. She's also ridiculously attractive.
Yeah.
And like she can sing, she can dance, she can do everything. You're like, okay, cool. I get this. But the more I think about it, the more I don't actually like it that much, even though I kind of did in the arena.
Apparently she's ridiculously famous in Israel.
Oh, yeah. But it's the fact that she's like, do you want to see me dance? And I'm like, no, I want to hear you sing. It's a singing contest. And then she just kind of dances away towards the end. And I'm like, I kind of wish there was a big vocal flourish as opposed to her dropping to the floor and getting a breakfast out, which was just a bit unnecessary. But she did do a good job in the arena. I wasn't expecting that. I think personally, I still think Loreen should win. I mean, my favorite song is still Austria, but I don't think it really stands a chance. I think Loreen is still favorite and probably should win, and I think she will win the jury vote. But I think Finland is going to win the public vote, and we'll have to see if that is enough for Finland to take over. But
it was for Ukraine last year, but
yeah,
we will see.
It's definitely between those two. Definitely.
Yeah. Also, Hannah Waddingham was amazing.
Oh, she is the loveliest, funniest person. Like, she's incredible.
She did it in like really a sports bra, didn't she?
Yeah, she was just in like tracksuit bottoms and like a bra top. Like she was not in her full dress, but she was just working the crowd, loving it. Is clearly a big fan, and just was such a good presenter.
All the presenters were actually really good. Alicia Dixon, I thought, was brilliant. She was really...
I quite enjoyed her rap. A lot of other people didn't online, but I quite enjoyed her
rap. It's
rap.
because it's a lot of people that like to pretend that they're above rap music for reasons you can probably guess.
Idiots.
Yeah. It's a lot of kind of like, oh no, there's no rap. You shouldn't be here. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's...
and Julia was great
Julia was amazing. I like it. There's a picture of like Hannah and Julia standing next to each other, and it's like those two houses where there's that big pink one, and then there's just like the goth house, and it's like those two next to each other. Yeah, a lot of people don't. Exactly. Alex says a lot of people who don't remember that's how she started.
How dare people not know who Mystique are?
And honestly, when she started rapping, I was like, oh my God, it kind of transported me back to the days of Mystique when she used to do that rapping.
So scandalous.
Yeah.
Oh, exactly. What a tune.
Yeah.
What a tune.
I used to like Mystique.
And also, if anyone is not from the UK and has no idea who Mystique are, please go listen to them.
Yeah, M-I-S.
M-I-S-T-E-E-Q, I think. And she's a legend.
Just,
it's like proper noughties garage pop.
Does she sing? Yes, she is. She sings The Boy
Does Nothing. The Boy Does Nothing.
That was the song I remember. Yeah. The Boy Does Nothing. That was a great song. But yeah, no, that is Mystique. T-E-E-Q. And so she was great. But yeah, all three of them really were as well. And I'm looking forward to seeing tonight with Graham. But Graham's doing commentary. Sorry, not tonight, on Saturday. Graham's doing commentary and
he's presenting in it.
He's got to do some running.
Yeah. But no, I'm very excited about this evening. I think we've talked about Eurovision a lot between us because it's been our week. But I enjoy that it is a week-long sort of celebration of European music. And I think you said it's kind of like a week-long music festival. And like, I've got a friend who still will only ever watch the final. She's a huge fan, but she refuses to watch the semis because she just wants to go in sort of not knowing anything and just listen to the songs once on the night on the final, and that's it, because that's how it always used to be. And I'm like, Eurovision's changed now, and I like that it's a full week, and you've got all these other, the two semis, all these performances to watch and analyze. There's so much to get into, and then after the show, we then walked down the road, and we went to the Eurovision Village, which is literally a little mini music festival that they have, and there's a huge stage. Belgium's entry was singing as we arrived.
Yes,
doing a little extra sing-song.
That is my 100% favourite for tonight. Sorry to everybody from like Austria and stuff, but no, we freaking love Gustav.
No, we like Edgar Allan Poe.
We love Gustav.
Who the hell is Edgar?
Gustav.
No. So yeah, they've got a huge stage. There's all the like food stands. They've got big screens, and people. It is completely free, so people can just go there and sit and watch the semis on the big screens, or just sit and enjoy the music. We ended up watching. It was about an hour, I think, and it was ENO, which is English National Opera. They had a full orchestra on stage with a choir and opera singers that then came in and sang loads of like Eurovision classics,
and some non-Eurovision
style, which was great. So it started with Ruslana, who you'll know from Wild Dances, Ukraine.
We heard her singing Wild Dances.
Not only did she sing it, she conducted the orchestra while she was like chanting, and then she turned around and then just like went into Wild Dances, and they did it all with a full orchestra. It was awesome.
Yeah.
And then there was an opera singer doing Euphoria.
Yes, which wasn't as good in opera.
It didn't really work.
It's like a dance song. It doesn't quite work.
No.
Well, sometimes dance songs do, but that didn't.
We had Russell Watson.
Yes.
Who did Volare. And another one. They did River Dance, and there was an old man doing some Irish dancing.
He wasn't very good.
She was not doing it. And then he was dancing with like a sort of probably 14-year-old, and I was like, this is not working.
And there's Sonia. Sonia was there.
Sonia was there.
Yeah.
Liverpudlian legend. She was the UK entry in 1993, I think it was.
Did she win?
No. I think she was like top 3 or top 5 or something. But
do you know the UK has got more second places than like any other country? How many was it?
It was like 20 something.
Like there's a ridiculous number of second place. Yeah.
So Sonia was there. There was an old Irish entry. The woman, I've forgotten her name.
Oh yeah, she did it in the 80s or something, and she's still able to sing it.
Yeah, she still had quite a decent voice.
And then there was our favourite countertenor.
Oh, there was a countertenor who was literally in these like, I don't know how you.
If you don't know what a countertenor is, because I only just discovered it. A countertenor is like a eunuch, but hasn't had the chop.
Well, it's like medieval times. They would literally chop off. Basically, in medieval times, this is my music degree coming out.
Thank you.
They really valued the purity of a young boy's voice, and so they would basically chop boys' balls off to stop them from hitting puberty, so that their voices would stay high and pure. And now you just get men singing in falsetto, sort of mimicking it.
Yeah.
Castrato, that's the word.
But now countertenors are like those, aren't they? Modern day ones,
yeah,
but with balls.
They still have their balls, yeah. Or just sing really deeply.
Yeah.
So yeah, and he came on and was like super sassy and did.
No, he came on in full drag, singing Downer International Diva.
Well, it wasn't quite full drag, but
it was a dress.
It wasn't. It wasn't. I looked carefully. It's like I was about to describe it. I don't know what you call them, but they were like super flared trouser legs that when you stand still sort of looks like it's a skirt, but actually they were trousers.
Okay.
That is true, Manatee. We see in medieval times Castrati was still walking around in the Edwardian era. Anyway, yeah, he came out in like full kind of thing and makeup and did Viva la Diva, and it was amazing.
You should do that.
Thanks.
Oh, you will do with the.
It was amazing, and then did
no, I
didn't he do Rise Like a Phoenix? Or was that someone else?
I don't think he did. I think it was the big opera. He did something else, definitely.
He came back into something else because he got the words wrong.
And then everyone came out for Waterloo.
Yeah, a little sing-song of Waterloo at the end, which was very nice. And it was just really wholesome. Like everyone there is just Eurovision fans or just people out for a nice day.
Yeah.
And it was really nice weather. They wanted to just hear some music, appreciate the performances, watch some Eurovision. We'd already seen the show. Some people were then going to see the actual live semi that evening. And it was just a really nice kind of start to the week to be like, we're in Eurovision mode now. I feel happy.
Yes.
It was a
and
really
beautiful
lovely day.
weather.
Yeah, I think I got sunburned on like one side because that's where the sun was. It was just a really, really nice day. And it's one of those things where I've wanted to go to Eurovision for years because I've watched it for years and thought at some point I'd love to go, but it's always a bit of a mission trying to get tickets. And then suddenly this year it's like, oh, it's in the UK. It's like, okay, we have to go. So finally we've been able to go to Eurovision.
So I just got a message saying like, your Royal Mail parcel from Nintendo is on its way. Delivery is due Friday by 3 p.m.
Oh, that's annoying.
Yeah.
Well, yours is Royal Mail, mine's DPD.
Well, whoever's comes first, I'm stealing.
We'll see.
I'm going to be streaming it as soon as I can tomorrow. But yeah, we'll be talking about that very soon. But that was Eurovision. It was amazing. And that's another reason why we're streaming a little bit earlier today as well, because we're going to go over to friends.
We're going to have another semi tonight.
We will. Second one.
A second semi.
Yeah. And then there's the main one on Saturday, which they may or may not be coming, but we might be having Dona Tart come over and join us for that.
I will be making Swedish meatballs.
Lovely.
Westman has sent me his grandma's recipe for meatballs.
Well, I mean, if you're getting a recipe from Swedish grandmother, then that is perfect.
Exactly. So that is my job on Saturday daytime.
To
make up some balls.
Yum, yum, yum. All right. Well, let's talk about... It is a video games podcast, really. I know we're 42 minutes in. Ed, what have you been playing this week?
Well, I'm in full Final Fantasy mode at the moment. Funny that.
Yeah.
So as I have the last couple of weeks, I'm getting through Shadowbringers. I feel like it's clicking for me now, and I am actually enjoying it. I'm at a point where I look forward to turning my PC on to play Final Fantasy 14.
Amazing.
It doesn't feel like a slog anymore. Excuse me. Sorry, that's the tea coming back up. It doesn't feel like a slog anymore. It feels like this is actually kind of fun. I really appreciate the world. It's a bit darker and edgier, a bit more emo, but also much more fantasy-y.
I feel like it's a lot more themed.
Yeah. So the bit I'm at the moment, for anyone who's played it, is I'm basically in the fairyland. And I've just done a duty where you're like going underwater and then you have to fight a frog in a top hat at the end. I mean, it's wild.
And you've seen like Moscow or the red square type kind of decadent.
I have.
But you've not been in?
No, I have been in.
Oh, you have?
Yeah, I did have it. So yeah, it's just so much more colourful and fantastical and imaginative. It's not taking itself quite as seriously, but it also is because it's kind of emo. You can just tell that the storytelling is better as well. The direction of the cutscenes is better. The whole thing feels more streamlined. I still feel like the quest design is a little bit, go here, talk to this person, then do this. But there's a little bit less of that. So it feels a bit more involved. I also like the sort of flip of the story in that the world is full of light and you have to bring darkness to it. Where usually it's like the world is in dark and you are the warrior of light, which is very Final Fantasy 1, which we'll talk about in a minute. But this is the opposite, and so it's kind of turning Final Fantasy on its head a little bit, which I really appreciate. And it means that the enemy designs, the Lightbringers, are they called Lightbringers?
Are they?
I can't remember what they're called. They're definitely giving me like Bayonetta vibes. It's kind of like the sort of evil angel kind of vibe, which I like. Okay. So yeah, I'm enjoying it. The music's great as well. Again, that's bringing that emo vibe of the sort of rock music. Like there's like really twee fairy music, and then you get into a battle and it's like screaming emo rock, and it's just a wild mix. But
and you haven't got to the Great Raktika Greatwood yet.
Not yet. No. I don't know if that is next after Fairyland.
I think it is. But
I've met Urianger now, who still talks pretty weird.
He does, but not as badly. I think people have noticed, and that some people have claimed that it's because he's in a new world, so he has to kind of tone his language a bit more. I mean, that's like I don't know if that's genuinely true or if that's just
I don't know.
They heard criticism.
Maybe. I'm also at a point now where I can play with duty support. So when they first had added that in, I think it began with Endwalker, or with Shadowbringers, I can't quite remember. And then they went back to the beginning of the game and have put them all in. And I've been in the middle of that process for ages, doing Stormblood. I'm like, oh, I've got to play with other people. And I know playing with other people is the point of an MMO. But unfortunately, I keep getting paired or matched up. T-shirts. I keep getting matched up with idiots who are horrible and mean, which nobody else seems to get in this game apart from me.
No, I've never had that, yeah.
So now I can finally play with the duty support.
Yay.
And I kind of prefer it, but also don't. What I do enjoy is that I can then take the duties at my own pace. And because you're playing with the computer-controlled characters who are part of the story, I feel like I've now got more of a connection with them. They're not just in cutscenes. I'm battling with them. And I feel like there's more of a connection there. I can take it at my own pace.
You get a special dialogue.
Yeah, and you can just enjoy the dungeon a bit more. It's not a rush, because it's always a rush when you play with other people online, because there's always someone who just, an annoying tank who runs through the whole thing in one go. It gives you a chance to learn the mechanics a little bit more. So I appreciate that. On the flip side, it takes like 10 times longer because the AI is incredibly slow and not very good. The AI sort of doesn't understand the mechanics of the bosses, I feel. So there was a bit where I died out of nowhere because like they just didn't do anything that they should have done, which was a bit annoying. So, I feel like ultimately, yes, you are meant to play this game with other people. And it's easier with other people and people that know what they're doing and can help you out, rather than it just being computer people. But I appreciate having the opportunity to try it for yourself and learn it. It just takes the pressure off a little bit. So I'm definitely going to stick with duty support, I think, even though it will take me longer. But it's making me feel more confident in my abilities as a healer, which is nice. Also, as a healer, it's really boring doing duty support because you can take it really slow. You barely have to heal the computer. So you're basically just constantly attacking as if you're DPS, but you don't do very much damage. So that does make it a little bit boring. But it's a chance to learn the boss mechanics, which balances it. So I kind of appreciate it. So yeah, I'm having a good time. I'm enjoying it. And I don't know how quickly I'm going to be able to get through it, but I am enjoying playing it much more than I have the previous 250 hours. So here we are.
Brilliant. I'm looking forward to going back to it. I'm probably going to be going back to it on Sunday. That is my goal. But I kind of wanted to switch my job because I'm currently a tank and I like it, but I'm ready to be something else. I might go and I'm thinking of a DPS, maybe even Black Mage, because I never played as a Black Mage. So that might be.
I think you should try healing.
No.
You'd be terrible at it.
Yeah, I don't have the patience nor the, kind of respect for others to heal.
No, you don't have respect for anyone.
No.
Wow. That's true.
Yeah, I think I will. I'm going to try a Black Mage. See what that's like. Although I think Black Mage, you have to stand still and cast, don't you?
Yes, the same with White Mage.
That's one of the reasons why I like Bard or what's it called? Bowman. Archer. Yeah, that you can kind of just start shooting as you're running around and stuff, which I like.
But that's the point, is that you have to dodge the AoEs and you have to hang back so that you're in clear space, and you've got to time your spells. So you can't just spam spells. You have to actually think.
I can try that.
You can attempt that.
Yeah. If you want movement, go Red Mage. I say I'm going to be doing it with like whatever is released at that point. So I've just finished 2.0. We just had credits. So we're now going into like the 2.0 to 3.0 patches, or the 2.1 to 3.0 patches before Heaven's Ward. So it's going to take a while. And yes, Bowman, like Edith Bowman. Whatever happened to Edith Bowman?
A radio presenter.
Yeah.
She's on Radio 2.
Is she? Oh, I don't hear her.
No, she does the afternoons, I think.
Oh.
Anyway, so I played Shadowbringers, and then I have also played this week Final Fantasy 1.
Me
which
too.
Is the Pixel Remaster, which I whipped through in pretty much a day.
Yes.
It's very short, but that's because I use the assists. So there are assists in the Switch version of it and PS4 that came out a couple of weeks ago. So you can have it that you get 4 times XP or 2 times XP, also like 4 times money. So you get tons of gil, and then you can switch encounters on and off. So at the beginning, I just bumped it up to 4 times everything and kept encounters on, and I feel like I leveled up very quickly. But the thing with that game is that there's not it's not the longest of games in terms of narrative and the amount of stuff to do. It's just that it's padded out by all the random battles that you have to do because it's a NES game from 1987. So they had to add gameplay with random battles. And nowadays that just becomes really grindy and kind of dull. So if you just bump it up to 4 times, you can basically do a bit of grinding just to level up and then turn encounters off and spend the dungeons actually exploring and doing the puzzles or collecting chests or whatever without having to worry about constantly doing battles, which was actually really nice. So I really enjoyed doing that. I basically turned off encounters for probably 90% of the game because I was just really OP. But that also made it really fun. I had enough money all the time to buy all the best upgrades, all of the magic, and just basically one-shotted almost everything, which I appreciate takes some of the strategy out of the game. But I was there to appreciate the world and like the characters, and you start to see the origins of the series, which of course it is. So you start to see the origins of the different jobs and character names and certain enemy names that come up. And I just wanted to appreciate that as opposed to slog through loads of random battles. So I was quite happy to have the assists on, and I think I did it in 7.5 hours in total.
Yeah, I did it in about 12, I think, but I was like wanting to make it a little bit longer because I finished it as well, but it took me, a few days. I just, came back to it and stopped for a little bit just because I wanted it to feel a bit like an epic journey, which it was. I really enjoyed it as well. And I put it on the 4 times XP, Gil, and whatnot. And there's only a couple of times I was a little bit flummoxed where to go. In fact, I think maybe about an hour and a half of that is just me kind of wandering around looking for where it's wanting me to go next. Because it doesn't have like a quest marker. It's not, it doesn't have the modern quality of life things, but I actually really like that. And I think a few games are actually going back to that style.
I mean, that's the old NES way. That's what the original Zelda had.
You have to speak to people and they'll tell you where to go next for your quest, and you have to kind of like think about it. Although there is one person that you go to and it's like, if you speak to this fairy, it'll tell you where to go. And after about an hour into the game, she's like, I can't tell you anything anymore. Sorry, bye.
Oh, the dancer.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, not fairy, it's the dancer.
Yeah, it's the dancer. She's very annoying.
Yeah.
Because I kept going back to her and then she was just like, I can't tell you anymore. You're like, what?
Well, what's the point of you?
Think.
Yeah.
There was only one bit I got genuinely stuck on that I did look at a guide, but it was only just a pointer because I knew, and I guess spoiler if you haven't played it, but you'll know what I mean.
It's been out long enough.
It has been out long enough. So there's that town that you go to in the east, the northeast, where everyone speaks another language. And people have dropped hints of you need the Rosetta Stone because of course you do.
Animal Crossing.
And I was like, okay, where do I find this then? And people were talking about it, but no one was saying where it is. And I wandered the entire map talking to everyone and could not find it. And it's because it's in
a chest.
In the chest in the dungeon, the third dungeon.
The one there are like 36 chests in that dungeon, and I like that it tells you how many you've got and how many are left. And I had like 33, and it was quite difficult to get it because you had to kind of like scroll off the map. And then because you loop around the map.
It's like a weird pathway that you don't quite notice that takes you off into a different room that you hadn't seen before. Yeah. So I just completely missed that and had been wandering around the map for like 40 minutes being like, where the fuck do I go? I don't want to look at a guide. I want to do this myself.
There's some things in it I like that. Like if you're inside, they'll have a map. If you're in a dungeon, for example, you have a little, you've got the cave or whatever. And then you go into one of the rooms and then you've got, obviously you can see what's in that room. But if there's like a bunch of rooms in that map or in that cave, if you look at the map when you're inside a room, it actually shows you what's inside all of the other ones. So I was able to use that to see which rooms have chests in that I didn't open. You can
flip between like interior and exterior.
Yeah.
Basically.
That's it.
I really enjoyed it. I had a great time. Like I say, it was just whipped through it in a day just to appreciate the origins of a series that I really love and enjoy. And it's just a fun, classic game. I can see classic. why it became big.
And it's just like, there are so many things I'm like, were they the first to do this, or was this the style then? For example, I'm going to go into a bit of spoiler territory now. So
just to quickly answer your question, Final Fantasy was basically Zelda meets Dragon Quest. Yeah. So not a lot of it was new.
Well, one thing I did like, and I'm going to skip or pause or mute for a minute if you don't want any spoilers, but I like the fact that you go into these 4 corners of the world, you fight bosses based on their like elements, the earth, wind and fire and whatever else it was.
Water.
Earth, wind and fire, they remember.
That is, do you remember?
Yeah, they're on radio too. But I also love as well that at the end of it, when you finally, you're going to the end boss and you're going to the end place, you have to fight them all again, like one after the other.
And in the final dungeon.
Yeah, in the final dungeon, you have to fight all the bosses that you've already fought, one after another. And I was just like, this is, I don't know, it just felt like it was building up to a really grand ending, which I really enjoyed. Like, just thinking like, these guys, I was having a lot of trouble, or maybe I would have been if I'd not had all the assists on. I had some trouble beating these guys, and now I've got to fight them again and again. It just kind of proves just how strong you are now. And then you have to fight the final boss
as well.
Are they much more powerful?
Yeah, they were more powerful versions.
That's true, actually, because you do go in a different order, and I think they were all like the same level. But like the final boss took me quite a while to finish.
The final boss is an arsehole.
Took me ages.
Having been OP for the whole game, I then actually died on the final boss and was incredibly frustrated.
Oh, I died a bunch of times.
It's that thing of like when a game is really easy and then suddenly it spikes up and you don't expect it, you're like, I'm sorry, you want me to use my brain at this point when I've haven't used my brain at all for 7 hours? Yeah,
you were like, oh, use haste and you can get more hits in. I was like, haste? I've not used haste single time in this game.
Oh, yeah.
And then for some reason, like I had like a really high level character who had a really decent weapon, but was attacking the enemy and was just doing 1 damage. So I was just like, I had no idea why that was happening.
Shocking.
Yeah.
The final boss was a bit of an arse, but
it felt good when you beat it. Because I think even with the assists, all the assists did was cut out the grinding bit. Like you were still, like it was still quite difficult, some of the battles. I mean, maybe not for you, but a few of them I was like, I'm kind of one person's dead and I've run out of high potions, which I think that's actually one of the problems I had is I'd run out of potions at one point. And sometimes you go into a boss battle and you haven't actually fully healed. And you haven't got enough magic for various things. So yeah, that would definitely cause me a few problems. But I quite liked that because it made me feel like I was properly playing the game like they were back in the 80s.
Maybe you should now play Stranger of Paradise.
So I thought about that, but instead I went straight into Final Fantasy 2.
Of course.
Which is weird. Final Fantasy 2 is really cool as well because I thought, with it being a Pixel Remaster, because like the style's kind of changed. Like you compare Pixel Remaster 1 to the original one, and obviously like the battle system looks completely different. Because it doesn't have like the 4 characters on the right in a box and then the monster on the left.
Mm-hmm.
But they've actually made it so it looks like the graphics have upgraded, which maybe they did. Because Final Fantasy 1 was SNES, was 2 SNES as well? Or NES, sorry, NES. Was 2 NES or SNES?
So 1, 2, 3 were NES, 4, 5, 6 were SNES, 7, 8, 9 PS1, 10, 11, 12 PS2. I mean, you know the rest.
Yeah.
But that was obviously only in Japan.
Yeah.
Because I think, is it Final Fantasy 2 in America is actually Final Fantasy 4 or 3?
Oh, this sounds confusing.
And 3 is 6, I think. Because they didn't come out in the West. They were only in Japan.
Yeah.
So the numbering is actually different.
Okay. Well, it's
there you go.
Interesting, but very interesting. But I really enjoy it. And 2 is interesting as well because you kind of level up weapons and you level up. Yeah, I'm still getting my head around it. I've only just started. I've played like about an hour of it. I'm enjoying it so far as well. It's a completely different story. Like the story is actually quite gripping from the start. It's not the most basic like you are for adventure. Well, maybe it does become that, but like it's not the typical. Oh, these 4 people appeared from nowhere. You need to go and kill the enemies that are ending the world. I also quite like the story of 1. Just going back to that quickly, I enjoyed that like the world's on a loop.
Simple.
Yeah. But like 2 starts off
it also makes the title a bit ironic because the reason they called it Final Fantasy is because Squaresoft was going bust and they needed one last chance to like have a hit game, and Final Fantasy was that game, and so they called it Final Fantasy because it was their final chance.
I thought that was debunked.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh, well,
sorry.
That's a general theory. Fine, apparently I'm wrong.
I'll double check that though.
But it's final because I guess the world is on a loop, but this is the final version of it in order to clear the loop.
Yeah, I don't know if title. Over the years, several theories have emerged why it was called Final Fantasy. Sakaguchi revealed that from the beginning, the team had wished for a name that could be shortened to FF. That was it. It was a really boring answer.
Oh, that is
way,
really boring.
The game's title could be abbreviated in Latin script and pronounced in 4 syllables in the Japanese language. The original was Fighting Fantasy, but was changed to avoid issues with the gamebook series of the same name that had been released. The reason for choosing the word final to form the eventual title of Final Fantasy was explained as twofold by Uematsu. For one thing, it stemmed from Sakaguchi's personal situation, as he would have quit the game industry and gone back to university had the game not sold well.
Okay, well, that's kind of what I meant.
And for another, Square was under the threat of bankruptcy at the time, which meant the game could have been the company's last.
Also that.
Although Sakaguchi confirmed some of the theories, he later downplayed the rationale for choosing the word final, saying it was definitely a back-to-the-wall type situation back then. But any word that starts with an F would have been fine.
He downplayed it, but that doesn't mean it was wrong.
Yeah.
Fine.
What would
I'll take that then.
What other F words could you get?
Fucking fantasy.
No, I knew you'd say that.
Well, we're all thinking it.
Yeah.
Flappy fantasy.
Yeah, flappy fantasy.
Fappy fantasy. That's one for you.
Fappy. What's the one as well? Frotting fantasy. Oh, fickle fantasy. I like that.
Fun fantasy. Food fantasy.
Food fantasy. I know Manager tells I'm not even going to say that because I got my channel banned.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, flower fantasy. Female fantasy. All female heroes. Yeah.
I would play that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's Final Fantasy 10 to do.
I wouldn't play that. Definitely wouldn't recommend it.
What else have you played this week, Ben? Have you played anything else?
Yes.
You have. You finished something,
I finished 3 games.
Wow.
So I finished that. I have finished Breath of the Wild.
Felching fantasy?
Yeah. Farage fantasy. And I've finished Breath of the Wild. I have completed all 120 base shrines, beat Ganon, and very much enjoyed that. And I'm quite glad that I finished it last weekend so that there's a bit of a break between this and then the new one coming out tomorrow.
Yeah,
literally tomorrow.
Are you excited?
Yeah, but I guess we'll talk about that in the news. Not that they've picked up any news.
Oh, God, I literally haven't even done the news section this week.
That's fine. Just bring it up on your phone. Well, not right now.
I haven't even read it, though. I've been off this week. I haven't been working.
Well, we can maybe just talk about Zelda.
I purposely haven't really looked at the news.
Well, don't look at the news. It is work. Because
we just not have news this week. We talked about Eurovision.
That's true. Yeah.
That's news.
I mean, we're already over an hour.
Fine.
But yeah, I mean,
that was a fun segment.
We'll definitely bring up Zelda. Because the reviews are out, and I want to comment on the people that replied to them.
Okay, well, we'll do that at the end instead.
Yeah. And then, I finished that. I mean, there's nothing much more to say about it other than it's like one of the best games of all time.
Correct.
And it still is.
Correct.
And it sounds like the second one might be as well. But yeah, no, the other game that I finished is Star Wars Jedi Survivor. I don't know why you hate it. I mean, it's a good game. There's a reason why it's kind of high 80s on Metacritic. It's a good game.
Don't trust the reviewers.
Yeah, please, someone clip that. But like performance aside, the performance is pretty dire. Like it drops down to below 30 FPS occasions when it's busier. But I switched it down to easy mode and had a much better time with it because I just want to go through and kind of slice through people with lightsabers. Because the challenge isn't really about the battles. The challenge is about kind of traversal and working out puzzles and how you get from one place to another. The battles are kind of just an extra thing on there. So I didn't want to be kind of just stuck on those. So yeah, I got rid of, I put it down to easy. And I finished it. It's great. The story starts off. I remember people being like talking about how good the story was, and for the first 5 or 6 hours, I was like, really, not really for me.
That's where I'm at.
Yeah, but then it just gets a bit more and more interesting, and you finish the. Well, I'm not going to spoil anything, but like, there's a boss that you're like, oh, okay, this probably is a final boss. And obviously, no, there's loads more afterwards, which I don't think it did. It didn't outstay its welcome for me because I had it on easy, so I was kind of just whizzing through it. But I was just, I just really enjoyed it. I thought the characters in it were really engaged, like really funny, and you actually cared about them.
The frog
detective was amazing. He looks just like Frog Detective, and the maps are huge.
Twingle.
Oh, yeah, it's something like Toodle or something like that.
Oh, I don't remember.
Yeah. Been playing games on easy, no surprise. Absolutely. The mode's there for a reason, Sam. I don't have time to waste, I need to play another game.
I do. I was playing it on normal.
And you were getting very, very angry.
I wouldn't say very, very angry.
Well, because the thing is it's not very fair. Like the controls are not very good in battles. So I could hear you going I did dodge you, motherfucker.
Yeah, there was a lot of that going on, yeah.
Yeah. But Sam says he hasn't played a Star Wars game I haven't enjoyed a Star Wars game since the first Battlefront 2. But like, Jedi Fallen Order was a good game, like a solid 8 out of 10 for me. And this one is a good solid 8 out of 10 for me as well. Like it's evolved from the last one. It's better. It's not kind of reinvented the wheel. The maps are a lot more interesting. Like they're huge.
I would politely disagree.
Well, it's an opinion, so you can't disagree with an opinion. It's my opinion. You can tell us your own opinion, though. Go on, then.
Well, no, I haven't played it anywhere near as much as you. So because you finished it, I've played it for 4 or 5 hours.
Oh, your opinion is
invalid, of course.
Yeah.
And I also played it on Monday when I won't bore you with the details, but I was fasting for a stomach test thing.
Oh, so God, I was most miserable. I've never known anyone so miserable in my life.
I was very hangry.
Oh, Jesus.
And playing a video game was really not what I should have done, but I did it anyway. So that has probably coloured my experience a little bit.
That's when you were in the living room and I just went and played a game in the bedroom because I was like, I'm not hanging around you.
You played Final Fantasy.
Yes.
And had a lovely time. My thing with Jedi Survivor, and it's the same thing that I had with Fallen Order, which for me it hasn't overcome, is that it's just blatantly taking bits of other games and then putting a little Star Wars sheen on it. And I feel like if it wasn't Star Wars, people would be ripping it to shreds. But because it's Star Wars, people are like, I like this universe, and therefore they enjoy it more. And I like Star Wars, don't get me wrong. But the story of this, I mean, you said it gets better. So far at the beginning, it is not engaging.
The story's more interesting later on, definitely.
I could not tell you what the story is about.
No, me neither at the start.
It's meh. And it's a bit of Metroid, it's a bit of Dark Souls, it's a bit of like Horizon, it's a bit of whatever else.
A bit of Uncharted, definitely with like the wall running.
Definitely Uncharted in there. And I would personally rather play all of those games than play this. I just think that it doesn't do what it takes from other games better than them. And I don't feel the need to have them all together. Like, and look, we all know that I like Souls games. But the level design of Souls games is very good, the way it's circular, and this does not do that. The Souls games have really good combat that is challenging but fair. The controls feel good. Parrying feels good. This does not have that. The combat is not good in this game.
No, it's not.
The map system is still not as good as Metroid Prime's. There's just a lot in it that I just don't think is as good as the games that it's aping. Put it all together, it's a perfectly fine experience. If you're a Star Wars fan, add like 5 stars to it. For me, it's like a 6 out of 10.
Well, are you going to keep playing it?
Maybe.
Well, I don't know.
Well, probably, because we all know that I enjoy playing games that I hate.
Yeah, but Zelda's out tomorrow.
I will probably continue playing it a little bit. That's a good point. Zelda's out tomorrow, so maybe not. But I've played enough of it that I have that opinion. Whether that is a good one or valid is
your
probably
opinion is your opinion.
Incorrect.
Opinions are like arseholes. Everyone's got one.
Yeah.
Gary says he gets Guardians of the Galaxy vibes from folks watching folks play it. I mean, Guardians of the Galaxy is kind of quite linear.
Guardians of the Galaxy is a rip of Star Wars anyway, so yeah.
Yeah.
Which I'll get told off for saying.
Wow. I mean, I don't care. But someone in chat might. But no, like the game itself, it's a lot more of a kind of exploratory map where you can kind of, you unlock certain areas. Like the maps are huge. There are not that many of them, but they are bigger and bigger. And obviously you can go and visit new places with like abilities that you get later on. But later on, it just becomes this kind of like, wall running and grappling hook kind of swinging, kind of traversal maze, pretty much. Sam says I need to read Ed's reviews more. On point.
Thanks, Sam.
Yes, he's definitely got an opinion as old Ed.
The thing is, like the Star Wars game, it's a fun game. Don't get me wrong. I kind of semi-enjoyed playing it, apart from being hangry at the time.
Yeah.
So it's an enjoyable game. It's just I don't think it's like a 9 out of 10, 5 out of 5 experience. It's just it's good but unoriginal. And also the fact that it runs really badly pisses me off as well. The frame rate's shocking. Like, it's choppy.
Yeah, if it was 60 FPS permanently, it would be more enjoyable. Like, it would just be an enjoyable game to play. Because sometimes these kind of games you just want to pick up and kind of goof around with for a bit. And the great thing is it's got such like light controls, like you can jump around and fly and do whatever you want. with relative ease. It's not a lot of build up and like downtime. It's kind of just run, shoot, or run or attack. This kind of thing's happening all the time. But like when the performance tanks when you're doing that, it's like no.
Yeah. And as Mr. Millhill says, it's okay for a game to be 7 out of 10. I love a 7 out of 10 game.
Or 4 out of 5.
I've played plenty of 7 out of 10 games.
Do you like a 4 out of 5 game?
I do. But it's just like, I don't know, some people are more sympathetic to it than others, depending on what the game is, I guess.
Oh yeah, and before we go on to 4 out of 5 games, I played a little bit of Park Beyond today.
You've been playing the beta.
Yes, now I'm a Park Beyond Visioneer. So I do get some access, just as like a bit of a kind of, what's it called? Disclaimer. There you go. But so I am on their like Visioneer program. It's not paid, but I do get some like early access, and I got some keys today to give away. But I'm really enjoying it. If you like Planet Coaster, which you'll be compared to always, you will like this. It's very,
How does
very
it compare
similar.
to Roller Coaster Tycoon? Because that's my level.
1 or 2? Or 3? 1.
The original.
There's a lot more freedom to move around, but it's a very different game.
Okay.
It's very much it is very much Planet Coaster. It kind of, playing it made me want to play some Planet Coaster.
Oh, awkward.
Yeah, no, I'm honest about what I think of games. It made me want to play some Planet Coaster just because that's got so much more to it. Whereas this is in the beta, so it's very early on. I was playing the campaign mode, so not everything was unlocked. But I mean, obviously that game has been built up over a long, long time. So, eventually they'll probably do a sequel to that, where they've learned even more. So this one obviously just has some little kinks to iron out, but it's, for a beta, it runs really, really well.
My main question in comparing it to Planet Coaster, because for me, I've seen people play Planet Coaster and I haven't played it myself, so I don't know what the opening stages of it are like. But it looks like it's very complicated because there's so much customization. It looks a bit impenetrable and it scares me to start playing it. How is the onboarding of Park Beyond?
Oh, very easy. Like, okay. I don't know if you're sorry, but it's just like you're creating a roller coaster to get from one place to another. And it's like really, it did take a while actually. And they're like, okay, so if you want to increase the height of it, you need to get from like this place to this place to this place with this track. And yeah, you need to adjust the height with this button. Okay, do it. Right, to get from to the next place, you need to curve it. You need to go around this building. Okay, so you do that. And so yeah, no, it does very much. And this time you need to go up to above, to like the top of this skyscraper. So you obviously need a chain lift to take you up there. So go and do it. So yeah, it is very, very well onboarded.
Okay. Good.
Roller Coaster Tycoon was the best in the series. Roller Coaster Tycoon 2, yes, it was. Planet Zoo as well. I mean, I do really like those games, but I think they're the ones that you really just want to play the challenge mode. But then when you're playing a challenge mode, you don't care. I find I don't care so much about the aesthetic and how it looks. I care more about like getting the right turns and getting the right rating for something. So a sandbox mode, then later on is a bit better. But I do really enjoy Planet Coaster, and I can't wait to see where this goes because, yeah, the rides are really interesting. Like, I built a roller coaster that had a jump and one that had a cannon that shot the roller coaster out of a cannon and it landed on the tracks on the other side. And there's various other things where you could... it's
like impossible rides, right?
Yeah. There's one that goes off-road for a bit. Like, the roller coaster becomes like the carts that you're in go into this giant bubble and kind of roll along. And then, yeah, it's...
wow, okay.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I can't wait to see what more there is. And I'll be definitely playing more. And the beta runs until the 19th.
Because I guess that impossible stuff is what is why this stands apart from others, because it's the unique aspect of rides, which does sound really fun, but equally it still needs to have good park management tools underneath it.
Yeah, I'm losing a lot of money. I think Planet Coaster is easier.
Oh, in the game. Okay, good.
Yeah. Not in real life.
I got worried for a second there.
Yeah, so that's that. Okay, shall we go on to the news?
No, let's see what people are playing in Discord.
Okay, we should do that.
You always forget this.
I'm really glad you're...
people every week to answer the question, and then you ignore them.
Well, that's true.
Shocking.
But let me go and bring it up. But yeah, the coaster aspect, as Cap says, the actual making the roller coaster aspect of it is a lot better. It's a lot more like user friendly.
Good.
Right, where were
Answer
we?
of the day.
Oh, we have had a few answers.
We have.
Go on then.
Can you make it slightly bigger because I'm sat further away from the screen?
There we go.
Thank you. And you can pour me some water while you're there as well.
Sure.
Thanks.
Go on then.
Right, Pete Random is working their way through the Game Pass back catalogue from a guy who stopped playing games for 10 years. The last few weeks have been Hollow Knight, which is an excellent choice, Pete. I keep losing my money and then dying before getting it back again, so I'm always poor, which frustrates me. In theory, an excellent game. I love the illustration and the world, but I'm a bit shit, and it's quite hard. It is quite hard, for sure. I mean, I'd say losing the money, maybe you sort of grind a little bit at the start if there's something in particular you want, but I wouldn't worry too much about it as well. It's a brilliant game. Just like you say, enjoy the illustration. That's the best bit of it. I love it. You hated Hollow Knight.
I hated Hollow Knight.
It's an incredible game.
It wasn't for me.
Actually, speaking of news, Silk Song's been delayed.
I saw.
That's one thing I did see because it was meant to be coming out the first half of this year, and they've basically said that the game is a lot bigger than they had intended it, and they've added in lots of new features, so that's now been pushed back. So yeah, that's going to be later on in the year.
Money says, you wouldn't be so chill about this had you not lost 900 fucking bug coins.
Is that to me?
Yeah.
Well, no, I didn't lose 900 fucking bug coins.
I think it's to you. I mean, I'm chill as in like I played it for about half an hour and thought, or an hour, and I was like, you know what? Not for me.
It's all part of the experience. It's a learning experience.
No, I don't need that.
Blame Dark Souls. Sidious, continuing my Final Fantasy journey with Final Fantasy II. Because Sidious finished Final Fantasy 1 last week.
Yeah.
We are a step behind. Several hours in so far, and I'm enjoying it. Much different take on leveling in this game. There are no character classes or types. Any character can use any weapons or spell, and all start at level 1. And the more you use it, the more you gain experience with it, and it will level up. Your attributes level up in a similar manner. When you get attacked, your HP or defense could go up. Casting spells could cause your MP or intelligence to go up. So far, there seems to be a bit more to the story than in the first game, and I can tell that this game is going to be quite a bit longer.
Yeah, I mean, tell us like what you think of your games, because we get a lot of like descriptions, but feel free to just tell us about what you think, whether you like that or not. It's
an interesting idea for the leveling, I think.
Yeah, they didn't go back to it, did they?
Well, no, they didn't go back to it, although Final Fantasy IX sort of does in its abilities, in that you have abilities connected to weapons, and then the more you use those abilities, you sort of gain experience in them a little bit, I think. I can't quite remember. But yeah, they haven't really returned to it. The Elder Scrolls does a similar thing as well in, I think it's Oblivion. So if you keep jumping, you improve your jumping until you can literally just leap everywhere. Oh. And it's really silly.
I had no idea. Yeah. I never played it.
There you go. Neither did I. I just saw it. Riley, I'm back in my Animal Crossing era. I restarted my island last Friday and started with Flip and Muffy. I don't know who they are.
Muffy, the queen.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, Flip I think is a monkey.
And now have had Zucker and Chevra move in.
Zucker,
the octopus.
The octopus?
Sucker.
Yeah. Chevra. Or is it goat?
Of course. Puddles is the mystery one I let the game pick. I got the museum and the first shop, just waiting for the Able sisters, Isabel, and the next round of houses. I forgot how fun and fresh starting over can make the experience. The beginning was my favourite bit of Animal Crossing. Yeah. I don't have the creativity to make stuff like you do, but yeah, the opening and actually having stuff to achieve, that's the bit I enjoyed the most. Yuffie. Welcome back, Yuffie. We haven't heard from you in a week. In a while. Really.
Anybody in a week.
Finally had a chance to play some games this week after all my travelling. Spent a day wrapping up Kingdom Hearts Melody of Memory, rhythm action game that retells the Dark Seeker saga. Whatever the fuck that is. The last 15-ish minutes seemed the most relevant outside of the recap of the series through cutscenes. I really enjoyed playing, but I think I annoyed the husband with trying to get a perfect combo for Let It Go.
Yeah, I can imagine that.
Yep. Now just working on unlocking the last 4 songs. I know you both don't seem to be Kingdom Hearts fans, but those who are would enjoy it.
I have played what I've played of Kingdom Hearts. I've loved. I just need to be able to play it like on the go, and not by cloud. Like I would happily play Kingdom Hearts
on Switch.
Yeah, I'd like to play it on either the Switch or on the Steam Deck, but unfortunately, it's Epic Games exclusive at the moment. If it comes to Steam and I get to play it on like Steam Deck, I would love that. Just because I've played it, I started it quite recently actually again on stream and really enjoyed that.
I like the first one.
Just
it
weird
just gets
and
a bit complicated after that.
I just like going to the different worlds. It's cool.
I've gotten sucked back into playing Wingspan again, digital adaptation of the strategy board game Wingspan. The game is about creating habitats for birds and growing your preserves using the powers of each bird card. Super nerdy, but really relaxing and fun. Still waiting for the Oceania expansion to be launched. There is going to be 95 new species and other new features added with this second DLC. I don't think I've ever heard of a game that is more yuffie than that.
I had to look here because Wingspan was... I got an email about it, and I just found it like when they gave me a copy for it. And I think you might have been around at that time, but it was... 16th of December 2020. So yeah, you would have been around.
Oh wow, it's an old one.
Someone offering me a review copy for Wingspan, and I don't think I replied, weirdly enough. But yeah, it's not really my cup of tea. But I love that it's the most yuffie game ever.
It is.
Our bird botherer.
It really is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I quite like a board game occasionally. Linny Levy, still playing Honkai Star Rail, made it to EQ2 last night, so now I'm in my grinding for mats era. I don't know what any of that means, but I'm interested.
Grinding for materials.
Okay, that makes sense.
EQ, Earth Quest
2? Maybe.
Evolve. Q for Quest? Queen?
No idea.
Yeah.
I'm intrigued by that game. I don't have the time to play it.
EverQuest, yeah, EverQuest.
Don't have the time, but I'd love to give it a try.
It goes to different games.
Also tried out Honkai Impact 3rd, the original MiHoYo release. It's more like dungeon crawler. The story at the beginning also makes zero sense. I'll plug along, and if I still am not interested, uninstall. Fair. Of course, daily logging in of Final Fantasy 14 to run 2 roulettes, then log off. If I didn't have my house, I'd take a long break. Yeah, I guess. Hang on, when's the next expansion? Not expansion, the next patch. Isn't it quite soon?
Which one? Sorry,
Final Fantasy 14.
Oh, I think it is.
I'm sure there's a new patch.
Oh, was the one
soon.
just recently?
I'm sure it's coming soon.
Yeah,
I can't remember what it's called. Anyway,
yeah.
Mr. Millhill, finally something else besides Dead by Daylight. I bought and finished Dredge. Now, this is a game I also want to play, and I haven't. I enjoyed it a lot. Kind of love crafting and fishing simulator is right up my alley, and Fear of the Deep and Fog is very exciting. Fishing is very important first, but later you don't really have to fish that much, which is a shame. Also, trying to find pieces of wood, metal, and such to upgrade your boat is a bit of a chore, but the atmosphere and great controls make even the tedious things something to enjoy. 8 out of 10. Thank you for the score.
I do feel like, yeah, I should play it as well. When you get it on PlayStation, then I can.
Oh, I'll just magically get it, shall I?
Yeah. I'm sure you got a contact.
All right.
Oh, by the way, Nordenheim came back. Also, I'm going to be honest, when you talked about Alicia Dixon and Naughty's music, I fell into a YouTube music video rabbit hole.
Understandable.
Yeah, I'm the same. Yeah, second I click on something, and then, yeah, an hour later, I'm like, what happened? Yeah, that's what you have been playing this week. But we're going to finish with talking about a game called Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, which is out tomorrow, and the reviews are in. There are 62 critic reviews, and the average is 97, which is it's higher than I thought. I thought 92, because I thought people would be like, okay, it's pretty much just using the world from Breath of the Wild, but adding some extra bits to it, like the sky areas and all this stuff. But turns out it could be one of the best games of all time.
So yeah, I've only read one review, which is the Eurogamer one, because obviously I'm supporting.
Gave it 2 out of 10 or something, didn't it?
They gave it 4 out of 5. I haven't read any others because having seen the scores, I can see, okay, it's clearly a very good game. I'm happy to now just go in and enjoy it, and I don't want to know anything else about it. So I haven't read any of the reviews. I've just looked at the scores and thought, yep, I'm happy with that. I was a bit worried that people would say, oh, it's too similar to the original, or it would sort of flop or be disappointing. But it seems like, literally just judging by numbers, that people are enjoying it a lot.
I'm just worried, and I don't know if they brought this up in the game, in their reviews or anything, but I'm worried that but playing this will make me never want to play Breath of the Wild. If it's like an improvement in every way, so you're just like, why would anybody go back? Whereas other Zeldas, like Ocarina of Time, Wind Waker, people still go back and enjoy those because they're so different and standalone.
Well, that's the problem with it being a sequel, isn't it?
Yeah. It's like, do you go and play the original? Gary was saying earlier in the chat about how he wants to play the new Star Wars, but it will play the original first. I mean, and that is a game that is, yeah, you want to play the first one. Because
it's
there is a story,
yeah.
continuous story, and you can see the character development, etc., etc. Whereas this, will you want to go and play the first one again? If you finish this and go, oh my God, this is amazing. You know what? I'm going to go back and play the first one again because I just want to, get more of it. Or is it going to be like, no, this is completely like replaced it as the Zelda game to play on Switch?
Probably. I mean, Breath of the Wild, you can spend hundreds of hours in it. You can also whip through it in about 10 if you want to. So if you did want to just say, hey, I really feel like playing it again, even if it's just for story, you can whip through it very quickly.
Yeah.
If you wanted. I mean, it's a good game in its own right, I'm sure.
Yeah.
It's still remembered as a classic. But we will see with Tears of the Kingdom. But yeah, the reviews are out. People are commenting.
Oh, yeah, people are commenting. Now, I had a little look.
That was your segue.
Thank you for introducing this.
I knew you wanted to say something.
So, Eurogamer gave it a 4 out of 5, which apparently means that it's a terrible game.
No.
Because I did have a look at some of the comments that people have left.
Don't read the comments.
4 out of 5, you're going to kill it score, and it's definitely better than 4 out of fucking 5, scumbags.
Says someone who's not played it.
Yeah, someone who's not played it. It's way better than 4 out of 5, but they're yet to play it. I really hate people that are like, no, why did you give that game such a low score? This is appalling. It's much better. It's like, have you played it? I just know from reading the other reviews that it's like, no, have you played it though? Did you believe that, like, have you actually played it? Even if you have played it, it's not you that has that opinion. It's someone else's opinion. That's what reviews are. Another one. Wow, this is the lowest score I've seen for this game. Someone replied, lost all credibility with me. And the other person, yeah, same. Like, that score is ridiculous. It's like, it's 4 out of 5.
It's a good score.
The only other score it could be is a 5 out of 5. And yeah, some people might have given it that, but this is still an excellent score, 4 out of 5. And then the other one, 4 stars? What's the matter with you? And then another person replied with, blocked. They've blocked Eurogamer for giving it a 4 out of 5. Even though they've not played the game. But the thing is, like, people, like, Redfall got criticised. And everybody, and all the people that, like, for some reason have turned, playing an Xbox into their personality were like, this is shocking. Like, how can you even do that? And like, wow, everyone's just trying to make a big deal out of it. Then it came out and got pretty much panned, and people are criticizing that. It wasn't Redfall. It was them thinking of. I mean, that did happen, but Star Wars Jedi Survivor, like, it came out and a couple of reviews were quite low, and people were attacking these people for giving quite low scores. And then the game actually came out and the performance was appalling, and now it's got like mostly negative reviews on Steam, and I think the Metacritic user score is really, really low, and it's like, oh, well, maybe you shouldn't have just kind of knee-jerk react.
I mean, there are so many things to say. There's firstly the fact that it's just a review and it's just an opinion of one person out of the millions that are going to play it. So if you don't like it, or don't like the review, or don't agree with the opinion, I mean, maybe hold off till you played it yourself to make that comparison. If you don't like the opinion, just move on and read something else. The score itself is still very good. What people have probably done is just look at the score and then dismiss the writing. So maybe read the writing and try and understand a bit more what the review is about.
It shows that people just read reviews to kind of confirm their own opinions on most things. If it's a game that they know that they're going to love, or they know they're going to definitely play, they'd look for that. If it's something new and obscure, like, for example, like a Tunic or something like that, if they see that gets a 5 out of 5, they're going to be like, oh, wow, I'm going to go and read this and see what it's all about. They're the kind of reviews where they'll actually read it and understand what it's about. But like, yeah, these kind of big games, these reviews, they're just looking for confirmation bias. And there was somebody that said, like, I don't read reviews by critics. I'll play a game, and then if I like it, I'll go and read the reviews afterwards. It's like, sure, do that. That's weird, but sure.
The reviews are there for you,
you
afterwards, if that's what you want.
Yeah, you play a game, you enjoy it, and then you go and read all the reviews that said it was great, just because you've got no friends to talk about how good it was or something.
I mean, I will probably go and read the reviews after I've played it, not to confirm my own opinion, but just to be like, okay, well, I played it and this is what I thought. Now I'm interested to see what other people thought. Yeah. And I might disagree with them, I might agree with them, but that is then an interesting comparison afterwards. Yeah. I think reviews, to answer Mr. Miller's question of do we not need them anymore? Yes, we do, because I think all art and all media should have some sort of criticism about it. I guess you can argue are some critics more qualified than others.
That sounds pointed at certain people, Ed. Who would you like to single out?
I'm not singling anyone out.
I know, but you can do if you like.
Well, no, I don't want to.
Oh.
I think there are, for instance, I'm sure will be fan websites that are probably called Nintendo
Live.
something. No, I'm not saying Nintendo Live. Nintendo. I'm what genuinely wasn't even thinking about that. I'm thinking probably some fan blog somewhere
that gave it 10 out of 10.
That will give it 10 out of 10 regardless, because it's called like Nintendo Lover or Zelda Lover or something. And they'll probably just be like, oh my god, it's Zelda, I fucking love it, 10 out of 10.
And everyone will read that to confirm.
Like, yeah, and it's like, well, you're just a fanboy, but have you played anything else to make a comparison?
I'm intrigued to see what Edge gives it.
But
I want to see what Edge gives it. I think Edge might give it a 7.
Just to be different.
Just to be different. I'm sure. That's my guess. What, yours? For Zelda? Or an 8, do you think?
Maybe an 8, I don't know. I still think it's good to have people critiquing games, and it means that we hold the industry to a standard, so that then when games come out that, you know, like Cyberpunk, for instance, that are buggy as hell. I mean, that was a cock up on the review part because they only reviewed PC, not console, but it's a case of having the media there to play these games and point these things out and hold the industry to a standard. That's the point of the media. That's the point of critics. So I think there is absolutely a need for them. But if you're someone who doesn't want to read them and you're going to go out and buy a game anyway, regardless of the review, then don't read the review, and then don't moan about it online, and don't turn around and say that a 4 out of 5 is going to tank the success of a game when it's Nintendo, it's Zelda. Millions of people are going to play it, and Nintendo probably couldn't really give a shit about one review.
Yeah.
Like, they'll look at the average and be like, oh, we did a good job. Great.
Why
look at all the money we're making.
Why are they so desperate to get the Metacritic review? I mean, this is a company that makes millions and millions and millions and millions and millions and millions every single year. Why are you desperate for that score to be higher and it to sell more? I mean, they're going to make more Zeldas. It's going to be... it just doesn't make sense. It's just really daft people. Really daft.
Yep.
Just looking at things before we move on. I've avoided tons of games because of negative reviews, says Mr. Millhill. And I think I have as well. Like, sometimes I've seen a game and I've been interested, like the Benedict Fox game, for example, the last case of Benedict Fox. And I was like, oh, that looks kind of interesting. It was on Game Pass. And I just saw that it's got 68 on OpenCritic. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to bother, because it sounds like it would probably be a bit of a waste of my time. But who knows? But Rubik's...
I think just as well, on that topic as well, is that it's what do you think is the purpose of a review? Because for me, that has changed over time in the way that video games have been critiqued and written about. So back in the 90s, video games were usually part of a tech section of a newspaper or a magazine or something like that, and you'd sit and go through and be like, graphics 9 out of 10, gameplay 7 out of 10, longevity.
And why are people saying that they won that in the Eurogamer comments?
I don't know. People apparently like that, but that is all that's doing is reviewing a game as a product to say, is this worth your time and money? And that is a really limited view of what a review should be. And I think over time we've got to a point where it can be a critique that is someone's opinion of what that game is from a more political, cultural, societal way of thinking that is much more interesting than just, should I spend 60 quid in this game, yes or no? Because no critic is going to tell you yes or no. That's your opinion. That's your money. You're the only person who can decide if you want to play that or not. Now, I can tell you my opinion of a game and tell you if I think it's culturally relevant, if I think that it has interesting mechanics or how it reflects the rest of the industry. But if you want to go and buy that, that's on you. I can't tell you whether to buy that or not. It's a piece of art. It's not, here's a t-shirt with holes in it.
Yeah.
Or I don't know, like a piece, like a mouse that doesn't work. Like it's a piece of art. You have to make up your own mind. And if you want to do that, you either don't read any reviews and you go and buy a game and then make your own mind up, or you go and read every single review out there and then make up your mind based on actually reading the full reviews and putting your own opinion together based on that, as opposed to just sort of hating on one person or whatever.
Anybody just tuning in, we're just talking about it.
Sorry, we're just ranting about reviews.
Yeah, we're ranting because Eurogamer released their review for Zelda, and this is the first review. This is the first scored review that they've done in years.
As a Eurogamer reporter, I'd just like to say we're not just talking about Eurogamer.
No.
We are contextualizing reviews of Tears of the Kingdom.
Yes. But like how they got 10 out of 10 everywhere, but because Eurogamer gave it a 4 out of 5, apparently there are some very upset people who are actually being roundly mocked by the majority, which I do like, for saying like, this is going to tank their Metacritic score, as though that's something that's terrible. Like, oh, you're going to affect people's bonuses and all this stuff. And like, ridiculous. But yeah, like they said, back in the 90s, a lot of gaming magazines used to do reviews with several ratings, like graphics, gameplay. Yeah, you missed those times. See, some people have been saying that, Mr. Miller, and I completely disagree. Just because, like, for example, Zelda, what would you put for graphics? 3 out of 5? I mean, it's got its own art style. I mean, and the performance, it'll be a solid 30, but it's going to be at 30. So is performance going to be then impacted because it's a 30, it's not 60? Like, I mean, Zelda's graphics are not going to be reviewed as highly as Final Fantasy 16, I'm sure. But it doesn't impact the game. It's part of the style. I just don't get that kind of thing. The music, I mean, the Zelda music is quite minimal. It's great, but is it great music? I don't know. I think you have to review it as an entire product.
Well, not a product, an entire piece of art.
Sorry, a piece of art.
It's like everything.
Not a product. That's right.
Yeah, I mean, it is a product, but it's also not. Like, it's kind of putting everything together. And I think that kind of worked back in the 90s where like the SNES and the Mega Drive were competing. And yes, it's a Mega Drive, not a Genesis. Where they were competing, but graphics were very similar. Like the technology behind them was similar. So it was more of an easy comparison. Whereas now I just feel like the games industry is so vast and disparate, and with graphics or whatever, like you can't make that comparison as easily. Like you said, if Zelda was to get a 10 out of 10 in graphics, well, is that a 10 out of 10 for the Switch, or is that a 10 out of 10 in comparison to Final Fantasy 16 on a PS5? Like, it's really hard to state that. So it's kind of easier just to give it an overall score. And also then it's an interesting thing then of, okay, well, maybe a game is a 10 out of 10 experience, but its music's terrible. So does that mean that it's no longer a 10 out of 10 experience? Or is it's still a really good experience? It's just that it has a flaw, which is its music.
I mean, Zelda's music is very minimal. Will people criticize that? I mean, I like that it only kicks in every now and again. It's not kind of the same, repeated stuff, but it's like, is it anything special? I don't know. Sam, my brother in the chat says, I don't base my gaming taste on reviews. Instead, I base it on my brother's Castaways when I was 12. Pretty much. Yeah. I remember buying Assassin's Creed 1 for £39.99 and I sold it to my brother for £40.
You made a 1p profit.
I did. I always remember that. And Rubik says...
Sam, you were robbed.
So Rubik says, I wonder if YouGov has conducted if reviews for games actually matter. Do they help dissuade or accelerate the success of games? Or is it purely the source of the review and not a collective? That might be an interesting thing to chat about on our other podcast, which is called Inbox.
Why don't you ask us the question?
Yeah, actually, there's the thing. Go to swappingjoysticks.com/inbox and you can submit a question that we're going to be chatting about, because we will be recording the next one of those. It's audio only. It's podcast only. You can only get it on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or whatever podcast service you've got. But we chat about usually about three different questions over 25 minutes. And you can submit them there. But like, we'll probably do our next one on Monday, which will be after we've played a fair bit of Tears of the Kingdom. So, talking about reviews and stuff, that might be an interesting one to discuss. Moni, could you send me that as a DM? Because I'll forget, but I think I might add that to our question list. Wes Maverick says, I honestly don't remember the last time I read a game review. Well, I mean, I hope it was for, what was the game you last reviewed? Persona 3?
Hi-Fi Rush.
Hi-Fi Rush. I hope you read the Hi-Fi Rush review on Eurogamer.net. It's /inbox. It's got swappingjoysticks.com/inbox. Oh, the DM was just about just Rubik's question, because that's an interesting one.
I think Rubik's is going to put it on inbox now anyway.
Perfect. So thank you, Rubik.
Thank you. That's a great question. We would love to discuss it.
And I feel like the last time we did inbox, we had a really good chat for like 25 minutes in depth. Questions. I just felt like it went really well.
Well, isn't that lovely?
It is. But we are going to stop there and we'll be moving on. I mean, sure, next week will be Zelda.
Next week is going to be Zelda. So I guess if you are playing it and you also have opinions, then as always, the question of the day will be, let us know what you've been playing. So by all means, let us know your thoughts on Zelda.
And let us know your real opinions.
Yeah.
Like, we know what it's like.
Yeah. Let us know what you actually think.
Yeah. And like what you love about it, what you hate about it, what you think they could do differently, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Perfect.
So that'll be next week. And also, if you don't want spoilers, then I guess it might be a little spoilery. But
I mean, I'm going to be streaming it, so that'll be spoilery as well.
There you go.
So we will talk. Yeah, I mean, if you're not wanting to know anything about it, if you're really that desperate, I imagine you'll have probably played the first 10 hours or so, which is, I imagine, what I'll have played. Maybe more, who knows. I'm very, 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 very close because I've got lots of energy. I'm very tempted to do a midnight stream tonight. Is a potential.
Well, that requires you
to get
buying the game again.
Yeah. Which I might be tempted to. Depends how much
don't waste your money for
Eurovision.
Ben.
We'll see.
Don't do that.
Yeah. But so that'll be swapping joysticks. We might do it later. Won't you be drunk after Eurovision, says Rubik's? Probably. And thank you very much for the raid from Gemma. We are just about to finish, which is perfect. Oh, luckily the intro sounds are muted on the podcast. So
okay, good.
Yeah, don't worry, we've not done anything. But yeah, thank you very much for that. Now, Ed, where can people find you?
You can find me at ed_nights on Twitch and on Twitter.
Yeah, you can find me at BiggestBennis1 on Twitter because Elon hasn't deleted Biggest Bennis, even though they're not posted or liked anything since 2010.
Shocking.
But I'm sure he will soon. And although, I'm sure he will soon. If he does do that, that'll be like the one thing that I'm quite happy he's done. Literally the one thing. But yeah, you can find me BiggestBennis1 on Twitter. You can find me Biggest Bennis on Blue Sky. I'm twitch.tv/BiggestBennis. And you can also catch me at TwitchCon Paris, where I'll be on a panel.
Yes, now that is newsworthy. Tell us about that, Ben.
Okay, very quickly. I'm going to be on a panel about streaming as an LGBTQIA plus creator in TwitchCon Paris. It's going to be hosted by the lovely Psyche, and I'm going to be joined by Ebonix, Ready Set Ben, Donutart, and Passions Planet, who are all great friends. So it's going to be such a really fun time, and hopefully we'll make it really informative. And
it'll be streamed as well, right?
It will be streamed. Yeah, it's in the Nom Nom Theatre, I believe. I had a little chat with Psyche about it earlier, and we're going to make it obviously kind of serious because there'll be like advice for people wanting, but we're also going to try and make it a real positive place. So people who are maybe not LGBT but want to create a space that is welcoming for them, it's going to be open to everybody, and I hope everybody will get something useful from it.
Nath asks, "Wait, Ben, you're gay?"
Just a little bit, just on Fridays. Yeah. Okay. But find us swappingjoysticks.com. Please, 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 please. Give us a subscribe on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. In my brain, it always wants to say iTunes, Apple Podcasts, or add us to whatever podcast app, etc. that you use. And yeah, if you do subscribe to us on as the actual podcast, you can get us twice a week because we upload the Inbox podcast, a little short, bite-sized Q&A one that we do once a week. So yeah.
Very nice.
Yes.
So you're going to be back tomorrow playing some Zelda.
Potentially tonight.
I will be back on Monday, and I'm determined to finish Bloodborne at long last.
Oh God, yes.
So that'll be Monday. Otherwise, Inbox will be online somewhere next week.
Yes.
And we'll be back next Thursday for some Zelda chat.
Probably a lot of Zelda.
A lot of Zelda chat.
Do your thing.
Thanks all for watching. See you all next week. Keep swapping.